Welcome to episode 3 of Regina Industry District Educational Council Entrepreneurial Spotlight. Today we have Sal Moolla.
What's up?
So, Fifo, tell me about it. What is Fifo?
Well, Fifo is a dream. It started off as a financial literacy course and program for new immigrants and new Canadians. And as it progressed and as we developed it into a full class and as it developed further and further, we saw the need of having financial literacy be accessible to everyone. And that's where the concept of developing a financial tech company based out of Regina is what spurred this whole journey of entrepreneurship and development for not only myself, but my co-founders, and also part of the ecosystem that's happening here in Regina. We see a progression of a new industry and a new way that, you know, people have always said that you can't build something like this here in Regina, but we think that this is the best place to build something like that.
Like even when you say like growing the tech ecosystem in Regina, it almost, I want to say it sounds funny, but it's like, that shouldn't be a joke anymore. It should be, why wouldn't you build it here? Why would you go to somewhere else way more expensive to live to build out something that you can do anywhere in the world?
Exactly, and that's something that, especially with unfortunately what's happened in the world over the past 12 months, we now see it as more of an option. You know, you can be anywhere and do what you want to, the way you want to, and as long as you're able to get your concept or your brand or image out to a larger group, you're going to be able to do it.
Cool. Okay, I have some questions for you, Sal. Was there a specific moment where you kind of like the entrepreneurial light turned on? Was it gradual? Was it over time? Do you remember a moment in your life where you kind of said to yourself, God, I'm going to be an entrepreneur?
So there was one moment in particular that sparked this whole thing with Fifo and financial literacy, and it was in my grade 12 year.
I was going to say, because I'm like, you got to be careful, because I've known you since you were in grade 11 or 12 at Campbell.
You've known me since I was in grade 10.
And that little, you know, do as much as he possibly can around the school type attitude.
Yeah. And we got that attitude directly from him, and that sends you into a spiral of just taking on work without doing everything. But no, there was one specific moment in my grade 12 year where we were at the ABEX Awards in Saskatoon. We were sitting at the table with Eric Dillon, and Eric looked at us, specifically me at the end of the night, and said, "Hey, Sal, you're graduating now. One thing that you should always think about or look at doing is financial literacy. Doesn't matter how, but do something with it and change something with it." And that was something that stuck with me forever. And I didn't think about it for a couple of years, about 2 years. I didn't touch it, didn't do anything with it. I then had the opportunity to develop this financial literacy program for the Regina Open Door Society, where it was in the middle of the Syrian refugee crisis. There were tons of new Syrian refugees coming in to Regina, into the community, but at the same time, there was also refugees from Eastern Africa, from various parts of the Middle East, from Asia, from South America. So you just had a lot of new people coming into the city that lived in areas where you didn't have the conventional banking systems or financial systems. You know, everyone was using different systems there. So this was an opportunity to kind of push and test this concept. So we did this this little program, and it was quite successful with everyone. And then we started developing out a curriculum where at the end, at the back of my head, I'd always kind of thought about that thing that Eric had said, is do something with financial
literacy.
literacy.
Who's this Eric guy you talk of? Eric who?
Eric Dillon. And if you don't know who Eric Dillon is, he might, he's
some bald loudmouth I heard.
But he might be a CEO to some, but to many others, he's a mentor and a leader and an innovator in his own right. And he has that entrepreneurial mindset that really pushes tons of us in this community to kind of go forward with it. But back to what actually happened with it is that, you know, we had this concept, we We developed a curriculum proposal. We put it through to government. We worked with individuals in government, and then we went to a competition in Calgary, and it was the Capital One Financial Education Challenge. And we pitched our concept and everything to this, and we won the top financial literacy project in Western Canada. And then following that, we won the top 3 financial literacy concepts in all of Canada. And that's when we kind of knew, okay, we have something here, but how can we go further? And that's where we started looking at technology as the option of, as the world grows and as schooling changes and education changes and our daily life changes, where we're using a phone every single day, what's the best way to get information across is through a phone and an app. And that's what started it all, and that's where the journey began. And it's still been a year and a half since that started, but every little bit helps us grow, develop, and especially with having mentors and individuals who look out for us and who are actually wanting to see us succeed, really helps us with that. So
very cool. Great answer. On the same kind of tune, but more so on the negative side now, was there a moment where you wanted to give up, cash in all your chips, or just say, you know what, I'm done, I'm just gonna go work somewhere else? Did that ever happen?
Yeah, I think that happens for everyone. The journey of this entrepreneurship journey is difficult. It's lonely at times. It's very stressful. You have people who are always gonna be those naysayers and be like, oh, well, my bank does this and I can get this from this and this from here. And you're constantly getting bombarded with that. But then you also have a few people who will be like, no, that's something that is valuable. And those little things, or those little pieces of validation, really help you with that kind of inner turmoil that you'll have. And it's kind of weird. There's this concept called the imposter syndrome. And that's something that I know I've dealt with many times, especially over the past 2 years, is, you're doing these things and you're putting out this branding and this concept, and, you're building a company, and people are always going to look at you and be like, yeah, but he's just pretending. And for all intents and purposes, yeah, we are just pretending, because we're still building and we're creating a
But
concept.
how did anybody start though?
Exactly.
Everyone's pretending when you start out. There's nobody that starts out that already gets it or knows it.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Good for you.
It's like with Elon Musk, when he walked in, when they released the Tesla Roadster in 2007 or 2008, he took it and presented it to every car manufacturer in the world. And they said, this is the stupidest idea. You're never going to get anywhere. And look where he is now. So.
Okay, so you've had a lot of success in business and the companies that you've worked with.
Mm-hmm.
What's your view on culture, and how does culture play an important role in what you do as an entrepreneur, as you're running Fifo?
I think culture is a very big thing when it comes to the creation of a company, the development of the company, and then how the company can eventually become successful. And each one of those things play into each other. What I experienced, coming out of university, or coming out of high school, my first job, I had the worst boss ever. It was Jeff Mason. That was my first job.
Please don't say Strava. Please don't say Strava.
No, but that was actually...
We did work together.
But that was where I actually got to understand what a culture of a company actually means. Because you have the ability to talk to your boss or talk to your coworkers, or everyone helps each other out. As I, eventually moved into other companies and organizations, I went to an organization right after StratLab with thousands of employees across the country, 120 offices. The office building here has close to 1,000 people in it. And yes, they do pride themselves of having a very good culture, but the culture that they had was just not something that I wanted. It was very relaxed, laid back. You clock in at 8:30, you clock out at 4:30. You don't look at your work the rest of the day. which is, it's great for some people, but you know, for some where you have that light under your butt and you just want to keep working and doing something and, you know, change the world in a way, is a cliche point, but you want to do something cool.
It's hard to turn off your brain at 4:30.
Hard to do. Exactly.
That's really hard. I completely get that.
Because I'm the guy who only gets my good ideas at 2:30 in the morning. So that's where those
Been
kind of
there,
happen.
shower and driving.
Exactly.
Best ideas, shower and driving.
Yeah.
Not
So
at the same time, that's weird.
yeah, that'd be kind of odd.
Unless you're in an RV.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I don't really camp. I'm a city boy. But but you know, you see larger organizations like that, and then I moved on to, you know, a very high-paced position within a financial institution, and you're working 15, 16 hours a day. But what ends up happening is that you don't have a core concept of what a team is. You don't feel that your team members, who you're all working on the same projects, you don't feel that they're looking out for your best interest and you're looking out for their best interest. It's everyone is looking out for their own interest. And it doesn't make any sense when you're in the same team, in the same company, you're trying to grow the same thing, that everyone on the team should be, you know, looking out for each other. And that's one of the things that we've tried to really keep when we started developing how we want to build this company of FIFO. Yes, we have titles because an incorporation document says you need a director and a CEO and this and that. But anyone on the team can look at me and say, Sal, whatever you're saying right now is cool and all, but it's stupid and it's not going to work. This is what is better. And this is why it is better. And this is how we can make this concept or idea do better. And that's what we've prided ourselves as a team. We have a team of 7 individuals. It's myself, my 2 co-founders, Jana and Robin Ham. We have our SAS Mass, another entrepreneurial program in the city. Our chief technology officer, Shez Ratnani, who's a computer science genius. Our other 2 developers of Prasoon and Preet, and then our business development officer, Talha Babar, who's kind of a little bit of everything. And we have all these names and VP of marketing and VP of design and this and that, but in an entrepreneurial setting, everyone is working on everything. You're all putting in your ideas and, you know, bouncing things off. And the only way to get the concept that I had in my head be something successful, I need to surround myself with people that are better than me, smarter than me, and who can execute on things better than me. And that's just where we're at.
It's funny you said that. I was part of a board meeting for a high school class 2 days ago, and they said that everything was finally ready for the sales team to take the product and sell it. Mm-hmm. And I not so nonchalantly said that, to me, that's a really bad idea. Because as a small company, everyone's the salesperson.
Exactly.
And in any of my classes, you can't pick out who that person is. In hindsight, you're like, oh my God, this person did such a good job on it. So it was everyone go out and try to sell one. Because one of you is going to sell a whole bunch more than that, and we don't know which one of you it is.
Exactly.
But I love the idea of just serve the greater purpose.
Right.
Show up to work and try to help. And that's what it sounds like you're creating at FIFO, is a bunch of go-getters that can help out with anything, not just on paper what they were told to do.
Exactly. And one thing that we also pride ourselves on is everyone kind of knows what is going on. You don't have to be involved with it completely, but you should still be able to talk to, say, our developer can talk to an investor or talk to a random person on the street, and he'll be able to explain FIFO the same way that myself or someone from our marketing team could explain the company. And that's what you want, is everyone to be able to understand and relay the same message, a unified message of what your company is and what you're trying to do. And whether it be, you know, just trying to make money or change the world or whatever it is, if you can have a group of people that are like-minded and ready to get that vision and that mission out, then do it. Exactly.
That's a really good answer. If you met yourself 10 years ago, hot tub time machine moment, what are you going to tell that Sal? What advice would you give that person 10 years ago? You were just a child then.
Yeah, I still am a child, a 24-year-old child. But what would I tell myself? Be open to everything. Keep your options open, keep your eyes open to any opportunity. But at the same time, take consideration into how you take any opportunity. Weigh out the pros and cons of each one. Be open to them, but at the same time, don't be foolish with it. And you have to be able to balance it, because I've done a lot of opportunities and a lot of things that have been great for me, and I've done a lot that haven't been. But at the same time, I wouldn't really know what was good and what was bad if I never tried everything.
So it's like, try everything, you're going to be foolish either way, so just do it.
Yeah. There was one thing that you told me in grade 12, and it was fail and keep failing, but as long as you're able to build yourself up on top of those failures, then it's not really a failure.
Well, it's like the fallacy. No one ever remembers the failures. They remember what you did in the end. It doesn't matter if you failed 100 times. As long as 101 is success, nobody cares.
Exactly. And the fact that I remember what he told me in grade 12 and I don't remember what I had for breakfast yesterday is beyond me.
Paleo diet, not eating breakfast.
Yeah, I look like I'm on paleo, man. Come on.
What are the future plans for Fifo?
Future plans for Fifo. Well, we want to be the first big fintech from the prairies. We want to be that next Wealthsimple or that next Milo. But at the same time, for us, it's not about making the most money. It's about how we can really make an impact in the industry, in our community, and in society. We want to provide financial literacy and make it accessible to all. In an ideal world, I'd love to be able to offer free financial literacy to every single school across the province, across the country, across the world. And while being a little bit sustainable on that side, create a platform that can be utilized in the industry, in the financial industry, to prep people for life better, to allow people that ability to have that financial empowerment and financial stability and independence, so that money isn't the only thing you have to worry about. Because with talking about money and finances comes stress and anxiety, and it really sucks that they don't teach it to you in school. So that's what we want to do. We just want to make a change in everything.
Yeah, another question I had for you is if, obviously there's something wrong with the financial world, what's the one thing you would change about how we run the financial world? What would you tweak to make things better? What lever would you pull to make our financial world a little bit better?
This is at the core what we're doing, is slowing things down and just explaining and teaching the financial products and services and skills and tools that you need to make those little changes in your life to reach that financial goal or that financial independence. And I feel that that's, with implementing this one little thing into a bank or a credit union or a digital bank off your phone, if you just have that one little new way for the institution and the person to connect and engage, you'll see a drastic change in how people work with their money, people live off their money, just explaining the little things of, how to use your credit card properly, how to invest, how to think about your retirement. We're always told these things, and it's, put down in a podcast, in an Instagram post, in a this and a that. But you just need one person to explain it to you. And you can either explain it face to face or over an app or a website or something.
Yeah.
And that's all that you need.
Okay, last question. What would you rather take? A 10% chance at $1 billion or a guarantee of $1 million? Why?
So one of our mentors actually, we were put into this situation. After we won that big competition, one of the larger financial institutions came to us, and I was 21, and they offered to buy out our whole project for $100,000. 21 years old, 100K, I could have bought myself a BMW, I could have bought myself a Rolex, I could have had Jordans, whatever. It would have been cool, I would have been fly. But this specific mentor said, Sal, just think about it. They're willing to give you $100,000 for nothing. Imagine if you built something and built something big. They'd be willing to give you $100,000 per month for that thing. And that's.
So you didn't sell?
We didn't sell.
So which one would you pick?
I'd take the 10% for that larger chance.
Mathematically, that's what you're supposed to take.
Exactly.
This is it's a Noah Kagan interview where he's like, this is what's wrong with our world, and if we're ever going to get out of the rut we're in, is we need to start taking the 10% chance at $1 billion. Because if you look at that, that works out to $100,000 or $100 million, which it far exceeds, even 10% of that far exceeds what you were guaranteed.
But you still have to remember, to get that 10%, you're going to have to work your butt off. You're going to have to really live the concept or whatever you're trying to do. Make the changes, make the pivots, learn from people. You know, I'm 24 years old. I've never done a financial tech company. I've never done a tech company. I've never ran a company in my life. But I want to get to this point where I can say we did something. So you have to learn from people. Surround yourself with advisors and mentors and other entrepreneurs that have done the same journey that you're planning to take. Learn from their successes and learn from their failures, and adapt that to how you're going to get to that 10% of that $1 billion.
I love it. Well, it's been a slice, Sal. Thanks for sharing all your information, all your wisdom.
Thanks, Jeff.
It was a pleasure.
No, always, you know, Regina is changing, and we got to do what we can to grow. So.
Well, you better get
My
going,
train is
Sal.
catchy.
Okay, have a good one, buddy.